Yes, the Khilafat movement. I know some of you must be thinking, why doesn't he go ahead with the chapter and do the question answers? Question answers at the end of it. No, you have to know what is all about it. That's the way I share. I just don't do question answers. So it's like that. A simple example is, have you ever known what is the pillars of democracy? You have to be a disciplined citizen also. What is a disciplined citizen all about? That I'll tell you one day, if needed. So it's like that. So history you have to understand. You have to know actually what are the reasons. It's not a Khilafat movement. Okay, Khilafat movement will write. You have to know why it happened. Now the Khilafat movement was against the caliphs. What are the caliphs? Pan-Islamists. They wanted one area or one country or one state under one Muslim rule. They are going to follow the Muslim rule or the Islamic rules. The Ottoman Caliphate. Under the Ottoman dynasty of the Ottoman Empire was the last Sunni Islamic Caliphate of the late medieval and the modern era. They had this Muslim unification, conquering and unification into one area or under one religious Islamic issues. Now the Khilafat movement is actually known as the Indian Muslim movement 1919 to 1924. It was a pan-Islamist political protest campaign launched by Muslims of British India. British Raj, it was said, the British crown of the Indian subcontinent, 1858 to 1947, it's called the British crown of the subcontinent, but it was actually called India, led by Shaukat Ali. Maulana Shaukat Ali was an Indian Muslim leader of the Khilafat movement. He was an elder brother of the renowned political leader Muhammad Ali Jawhar. Muhammad Ali Jawhar was also known as Maulana Muhammad Ali Jawhar, was an Indian Muslim activist also, journalist and a poet, and was among the leading figures of the Khilafat movement. And Hakim Amjad Khan, Muhammad Ajmal Khan, better known as Hakim Ajmal Khan. Hakim means a doctor, was a physician in Delhi, India, and one of the founders of the Jamia Millia Islamia University, which is in Delhi. So this is history. Did you know that where this thing was happening? So many gunshots were going on. He also founded another institution, Ayurvedic and Unani Tibia College, better known as Tibia College, situated in Carol Bagh, that is also in Delhi, heart of the city. And Abdul Kalam Azad. Who is Abdul Kalam Azad? Abdul Kalam Azad or Abdul Ghulam Muhyiddin Ahmad bin Khairuddin Al-Husseini Azad was an Indian scholar, Islamic theologian, about religion he used to speak, independence activist, and a senior leader of the Indian National Congress during the Indian independence movement. But we call him as Abdul Kalam Azad because we don't go for the long name. Abdul Kalam Ghulam Muhyiddin Ahmad bin Khairuddin Al-Husseini Azad. A huge name. These were the guys who went against their own Khilafat, their own caliphate, to restore the Caliph. The leaders were called the Caliphs, the supreme religious political leaders of an Islamic state as known as Caliphate. Caliphs. of the Ottoman Caliph to restore it, so that who was considered the leader of the Sunni Muslims as an effective political authority. It was a protest against the sanctions placed on the Caliph and the Ottoman Empire after the First World War and by the Treaty of Sevres. Now, Sevres Treaty was to liquidate the Ottoman Empire and virtually abolish Turkish sovereignty. But in practice, it was ineffective. It was replaced by the Treaty of Lausanne, which recognized Turkey again. This was all going on during that time. The movement collapsed by late 1922 when Turkey gained more favorable diplomatic positions and moved towards secularism. 1924, Turkey simply abolished the role of Caliph. This is the Caliphate movement. What is the background? There is the collapse. There is actually what happened in the partitioning. The Khilafat movement was there. The background of it is Abdul Hamid, 1842 to 1980, launched his pan-Islamist program in bid to protect the Ottoman Empire from Western attack and to crush democratic opposition at home. He sent an emissary, Jamaluddin Afghani, to India in the late 19th century. The cause of the Ottoman monarch, it evoked religious passion and sympathy amongst Indian Muslims. Being a Caliph, the Ottoman Sultan was nominally the supreme religious and political leader of all Sunni Muslims across the world. However, this authority was never actually used. Muslim religious leaders began working, spread awareness and develop Muslim participation on behalf of the Caliphate. Muslim religious leaders like Maulana Mahmud Hassan attempted to organize a national war of independence against the British with the support of the Ottoman Empire. All was to remove these damn British from India. Abdul Hamid too was forced to restore the constitutional monarchy, making the start of the second constitutional era by the Young Turk Revolution. He was succeeded by his brother Mehmed, but the following revolution, the real power in the Ottoman Empire lay with the nationalists. Now, nationalist Arabs also saw it as threat of continuation of Islamic dominance of Arab lands. This was also there. Okay, there was Khilafat movement in Southeast Asia also, in South Asia. This happened. There are quite a lot of Muslims in South Asia, So this was actually the main cause. So if we come back to that part, it says that in our basic notes, if we come to it, we don't see anything except the Satyagraha, the Hind Swaraj, and new economic situations created in India by the First World War, the Rowlatt Act. Now, what was the new? Indian factories were told to supply, war needs. Manchester imports to India declined as the British mills were busy with war productions to meet needs, to the army paving way for the Indian mills to supply for the huge home market. As the war went on, Indian factories were called upon to supply war needs. As new result, factories were set up, new workers were employed, and everyone was made to work long hours. Cotton production, in the sense, collapsed. The export of cotton cloth from Britain fell dramatically after the war. It was unable to modernize and compete with the US, German, and Japan. Hence, with colonies like India, local industrialists gradually consolidated their positions, capturing the home market. They brought in machines also from England to make their clothes here. Jallianwala Bagh happened, and during this, if we go back to your book, it shows here that after the Jallianwala Bagh, this Khilafat movement took place to fight against the British. To defend the Khalifa's temporal powers, this thing was set up in Bombay, 1919, the Khilafat movement. A young generation of Muslim leaders, I told you about Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali, and discussing with Mahatma Gandhi these schemes and in support of Khilafat as well as for Swaraj in 1920 this happened. Now, why the non-cooperation? In his famous book Hind Swaraj 1909, Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of Indians and had survived only because of this cooperation. If Indians refused to cooperate, British rule in India would collapse within a year and Swaraj would come. Now, how could non-cooperation become a movement? Now, for that we have to know what is non-cooperation. That we'll do in the next class, so don't worry. Take care of yourselves, be good, and I hope you have understood till where I have explained. And it takes time, but I go deep into it and I try to give explanation as much as I can. So take care of yourselves, be good, love your family, love your parents, respect them, don't upset them, and be happy. Take care of yourselves, enjoy life, do whatever you want after your studies. Bye bye. God bless.